call and all roll call votes. So Electoral Board Chairman Joseph Rudez.
Here.
And Electoral Board Member Dee Jones.
Present.
And Electoral Board Member Shirley Bolding.
Present.
And all three members of the Electoral Board are present.
All right. And a brief introduction and we'll proceed. I, Joseph E. Rudez III, now call to order this meeting of the Municipal Office Electoral Board for the Village of University Park. It is 6:03 p.m. on January 8th, 2021. This meeting of the Electoral Board is being held in accordance with the Illinois Election Code and the Illinois Open Meetings Act. Due to Governor Pritzker's declaration of a public health emergency throughout the state of Illinois, I have determined as chairman of this electoral board that it would not be prudent or practical to hold this meeting in person. Therefore, these proceedings will be conducted remotely using Zoom video conferencing technology pursuant to Section 7E of the Open Meetings Act. I am present at Ford Town Center at the mayor's office, and this hearing is being recorded. Notice has been given that the meeting would be held remotely. The public is able to watch this hearing online and submit comment in writing. All votes will be conducted by roll call. Also in attendance at this meeting are Dorothy Jones, Village Clerk, Shirley A. Bolding, Village Trustee, Ryan Morton, Board Attorney, Scott Erderman, Counsel for the Plaintiff, the Court Reporter, several people for the objector, and or the candidates. Roosevelt Martin and Karen Lewis are here.
And if I can jump in here, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
This electoral board has been formed in response to two objectors' petitions that have been filed against individuals who seek to be candidates at the April 6, 2021 consolidated election. The first objection, Betty Wayne versus Karen Lewis, has been assigned a case number of 20 UPEB 1. And the second objection, Betty Wayne versus Roosevelt Martin Jr., has been assigned a case number of 20 UPEB 2. Both Ms. Lewis and Mr. Martin have filed petitions to be candidates for village trustee in the Village of University Park. By statute, the electoral board consists of the village president as chair, the village clerk, and the village trustee with the most years spent on the village board. None of the three electoral board members are candidates in the 2021 village trustee race, so there is no statutory conflict to any of them serving on this board.
Notice, both objectors' petitions were filed December 30th, 2020. I received the objector's petition on the morning of January 5th, 2021, which was the second business day after the petitions were filed. I then transmitted the objector's petitions, the candidate's petitions, and the call of this meeting to each electoral board member. The objector and both candidates, all interested parties, received notice of today's hearing. Additionally, the objector and both candidates are present for the hearing.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
if I could just jump in, I do have in my possession affidavit of service that was given to Betty Wayne. She signed accepting that Karen Lewis, who's a candidate, Roosevelt Martin, who's a candidate, and Shirley Bolden, who is a board member. Those were served by our police chief for the Village of University Park, Mr. Rudez, and I served Mr. Rudez with the paperwork, and I was also served, so I do have receipts of service.
And of course, both candidates and the objector are here represented by counsel. The objector is, which also establishes that notice was proper. So if I could jump in, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
The first order of business for the board is to adopt rules of procedure for the conduct of both these hearings. A proposed set of rules were distributed to each electoral board member. do you each have those in front of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, do you have that in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Are there any questions or comments from the board regarding these rules?
No.
No.
Oh, no questions.
No.
Oh, okay, great. Then I would ask for a motion to approve the rules for both hearings.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the rules of procedure for both cases in this electoral board hearing. I'm Dorothy T. Jones.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I'll do a roll call vote. Dorothy Jones,
Aye.
Shirley Bolding,
Aye.
and Joseph Rudez. All right, the rules of procedure have been adopted by the Electoral Board unanimously. And to the candidates and to Mr. Erdman, once I have your contact information, if you're willing to accept these things by email, I'll send out the rules to you. Mr. Erdman, I know I have yours and that you submitted an appearance as well tonight. Before we proceed, do either of the candidates intend to be represented by counsel? Ms. Lewis?
I am seeking counsel.
Okay. Mr. Martin?
I am also seeking counsel.
Okay, so if I will give you, if you have something to write, I'll give you my email address. If
Hold
you
on
can-
one second. Let me grab a pen, 1 second.
And I'm ready when you get ready.
I'll just wait for Ms. Lewis. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, my email address is rmorton, MORTON, at ottosonlaw.com, OTTOSENLAW.
Hold on for 1 second, please.
Sure.
Okay, spell it again, please.
OTTOSEN,
OTTOSEM.
N as in Nancy,
EN as in Nancy. Okay,
and then law.com.
got you.
And so if you'll both send me an email, I can then send you the rules, and then we can proceed once if you do determine that you want to proceed with counsel, we'll take it from there. But this way, at least you'll have a mode of communicating with me.
Okay,
Okay.
And vis-a-vis me, the electoral board.
no, I understand. That's
Mr. Mayor, should we proceed to the first case?
Absolutely. Let's move forward.
All right, case 20-UPEB-1, Betty Wayne versus Karen Lewis. And we've already done this, but if everyone who is here on this case, if you could identify yourself.
Mayor Rudez.
I'm sorry, not the electoral board.
Okay,
The parties.
I'm sorry.
Roosevelt Martin Jr.
And
Aaron
Scott
Lewis.
Erdman.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me try this again. Betty Wayne is the objector. Is there anyone here for Betty Wayne?
Yes, Scott Erdman, ERDMAN, her counsel.
Thank you. And Karen Lewis is the candidate. And Ms. Lewis, you are here.
Yes.
All right. We established that you are going to seek counsel. Ms. Wayne, as the objector, you have the burden of proving your allegations against Ms. Lewis. Of course, Mr. Erdman, you know this. We have the objector's verified petition. The objection does not allege any deficiencies in the signatures on the sheets. Therefore, no records check of registered voters with the county elections department is needed as far as we're concerned. Is that true, Mr. Erdman?
Is not needed? Is that what you said?
Is not needed.
Correct.
Ms. Lewis, you are not prepared to proceed today because you don't have counsel yet, correct?
Correct. I wanted to file a motion to strike and dismiss the allegations from the member of the board trustee that causes confusion. So I'm going to seek counsel for that.
So your intention is to file a motion to dismiss the petition or to strike a portion of it?
To dismiss, to strike
Okay.
and dismiss.
Then it would seem appropriate to me then, while you are proceeding to find counsel, that we also set a schedule for briefing where you would file that motion or your counsel would file that motion. That would also then give Mr. Erdman an opportunity to respond. To the board, are you all right with that plan to schedule for filing briefs on this motion?
Yes.
Mr. Rudez, does that sound good to set a schedule for briefing?
Yes, a schedule should be set.
Okay. And no objections from Ms. Jones or Ms. Boulding?
None.
No objections.
Ms. Lewis, how much time do you think you would need to retain counsel and file a motion, keeping in mind, of course, that we are on a very short timetable with the certification of the ballots?
1 week, if possible.
All right, so let's say then, and Mr. Erdman, how much time would you need to respond to that motion? I'm sorry.
Scott,
You're muted.
you're muted.
Thank you. Are we going out for a week for the motion to strike?
I'm not sure if we will. I'm just curious how much time you would need.
Okay, 2 days after the motion is filed, I'd be willing to bet that I can turn one around.
All right, so my only hesitation in scheduling to the members of the electoral board is that I think it would be prudent to, whatever day we come back, to that also be where not only the motion to dismiss is decided, but that we also hear arguments on the petition itself, so that we're not creating multiple days and getting closer to that certification date.
Correct.
Mr. Erdman, do you have any plan to file an additional brief in support of the petition?
I'm sorry, you broke up.
Oh, sorry. Do you have any intention of filing an additional brief in support of your petition?
We'll stand on our brief and respond to any motion to strike.
Okay. Then, Electoral Board, I would suggest that we look at a filing date of the motion to dismiss of the 15th, as Ms. Lewis has requested, and then give Mr. Erdman until the 19th to respond, and then come back on either the 20th or the 22nd for a subsequent hearing. Do any members of the Electoral Board have any concerns with that?
I'm checking my schedule as we speak.
Me too, Dee. January.
Not
So we're
yet.
looking at the 15th.
The 20th or the 22nd for the hearing date?
Okay. Right now, that looks good to me.
Mr. Morton,
Yes, Mr. Erdman.
if we did the later date, would that give us a better shot at completing everything that we need to complete in O2 and come back on the same date, or in case 2 and come back on the same date?
I think the later date would probably be better, yes.
Okay.
So we're saying the 22nd?
Yes, does that work for you, Ms. Bolding?
It does, yes.
And Mayor Rudez?
That's fine.
How about, Mr. Erdman, you're fine with the 22nd?
Yeah, it works for me too.
I'm sorry, I thought I had already asked you, clerk. Thank you. Mr. Erdman, you're fine with the 22nd then?
Yes, I'm open, so anytime.
And Ms. Lewis?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, then let's,
She not on the call, just me.
would afternoons or evenings be preferable? Evenings probably. Why don't we just do 6 o'clock again, like we're doing today?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I prefer that.
That works for me. Thank you.
6 p.m. on January 22nd. That will be the date to return on the first case here, with January 15th being the deadline to file a motion to dismiss. And that's by the close of business on January 15th. And January 19th, the day to respond to that motion.
Mr. Martin, could I request just an end of day, 11:59 p.m. Deadline? Just because of the multiple 5 o'clock deadlines that would run into.
Yes, that's fine. We'll do an end of day, 11:59 deadline.
Thank you. I anticipated not being up at 11:59 emailing you, but
I've
safe
been there
than
myself,
sorry.
I understand.
Thank you.
And if there are any other pleadings that need to be filed by either side, the deadline for those would be January 19th as well.
So let me ask you a question. So
Yes,
to
Ms.
file, do I get the extended time of 11:59 p.m. on January 15th? Or it has
Yes.
to be by 5 p.m.?
No, you would also have 11:59.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Are there any other issues or matters to bring before the board on this first case? Hearing none, I would ask that we just take a quick roll call vote to confirm this plan. So I'd like to make a motion that we continue this hearing to January 22nd at 6 p.m.
Okay.
There's a motion that's needed.
Okay, I make the motion that we continue this hearing, Betty Wayne versus Karen Lewis, to January, 22nd
Mhm.
at 6 p.m.
Weeks from today.
Second,
Motion made by Jones, seconded by Trustee Bolding. We'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Jones?
It's gonna
Aye.
be 5 more
Ms.
minutes
Bolding?
on the phone.
aye.
And Mr. Rudez?
I would rather we
Right,
wait.
the motion passes unanimously. We will return on this case at 6 o'clock on January 22nd. Thank you very much, Ms. Lewis and Mr. Erdman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we will now proceed to the second case on the call, case 20-UPEB-2, Betty Wayne versus Roosevelt Martin Jr. And will everyone who is here on the case please identify themselves, starting with anyone representing Ms. Wayne?
Scott B. Erdman, E-R-D-M-A-N, on behalf of Ms. Wayne.
And the candidate, Roosevelt Martin? Mr. Martin, I think you're muted.
I am present.
Thank you. All right. Again, Mr. Erdman, you are aware of the burden on the objector, Ms. Wayne. We've reviewed the verified petition, and unlike the first case, there are some allegations of deficiencies in the signatures on the petition sheets. If all of those deficiencies are sustained, Mr. Martin would not have the minimum number of signatures needed to become a candidate for village trustee. Therefore, a records check of the registered voters with the county elections department is required to determine the validity of those allegations. I want to see if both sides are in agreement on this. Based on my calculations, 1,231 ballots cast in 2019. 5% of that is 62 signatures needed. That would be the minimum. Mr. Erdman, is that your math?
That sounds right.
Mhm. 62.
And Mr. Martin, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so 62 signatures is the magic number on this case. And I have been in contact with Will County and have set up a time for the records examination. The records exam will be at 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, January 12th.
Okay.
Is there a number of teams assigned?
The number of teams, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm more familiar with Cook County, and they'll tell you it starts at 9, and there'll be two teams working on the sheet and line review. I'm not
So
100% familiar with Will County's process.
sure, and it's new to me as well. In talking to the person in the elections department, he said that they have 3 stations set up there, but they would be one computer that would be active for this records check.
You're breaking up.
So there will be a member of the electoral board present. I'm sorry, did I break up there? It looks like
Yeah,
I
you're
broke.
breaking
Yes.
up. Yes.
Sorry, I'll start over.
Thank
In talking to the someone with the electoral with the election department in Will County, they said that they have 3 computers set up for a records check, but there would only be one active. It still looks like you're all having a hard time hearing me. Is that-
Yes.
Okay, let me hold on a second. I'm going to try and join this meeting via my phone and see if that works better. Please forgive me for just a minute.
Mhm.
So Ms. Jenkins, I'm going to try joining if you could allow me in on this other device.
Okay, I will.
Okay, hopefully, let me turn. Okay, hopefully this works better.
It does.
Much better.
Okay, great. So I talked to someone in the Will County Elections Department yesterday or the day before, and what he said is that they have a setup of 3 computers for records examinations, but we'll only be using one of them. There'll be a member of the Electoral Board, myself, there looking at everything on behalf of the Electoral Board, and then a representative from each side can also be present. So a total of 3 people looking at each signature.
Okay. And then the clerk's employee will make a ruling to signature or registration and such.
I asked him if the clerk's office would be involved in this, and he said no, beyond just setting up the computer and showing us how it works.
Okay, so who will make the ruling as to the objection, the sufficiency, either sustain or overrule each sheet and line objection?
I will be making the ruling.
Okay. And is there I'm checking the rules real quick, and then we preserve anyone that we can test to then present evidence.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I'm sorry, we're looking at, so Rule 8 then would apply with anything that you ruled on.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, in regards to appealing decisions, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Martin, did you understand what I was talking about?
Basically, if I heard you correctly, you said on the 9th I mean, on the 12th at 9 o'clock, that we have to meet at the clerk's office, either me or representation. We're gonna go line by line and look for either 62 signatures or more on my petition.
We're going to look through specifically the ones that have been objected to within the objector's petition. We're only going to check those lines that have been objected to and
Okay.
look at each of those objections and make a ruling on whether they should be sustained or overruled.
Okay.
And I apologize, Mr. Morton, but is there a report that will be issued at the conclusion of the records exam, or will the watcher have to record the call themselves?
There will be the report that I'll be putting together, but
Okay,
the watchers can also, of course, keep track on their own as well.
okay, and you'll issue that report and that starts the 24-hour clock?
Yes.
Thank you.
So again, on the 12th at 9 o'clock, there will be one person from the electoral board, one person from the objector, one person representing myself, and then you're going to go through the signatures that were challenged or whatever, and then a decision will be rendered at that point at the end of the day.
A preliminary decision based on my rulings, but the electoral board will make the ultimate ruling.
Got it.
And I would suggest that we come back on the same day, January 22nd, for that ultimate ruling. If that makes sense to the electoral board.
I have one more question, if I may ask. The one more question is, so in my case, if I wanted legal representation, I have to have legal representation by the 12th, not by the 15th. Or if I wanted to file a motion, I can't file a motion to dismiss or strike anything because they're challenging signatures. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. So the first on when you would have to find counsel, an attorney does not have to be present at the records examination on Tuesday. You can send an attorney, but whoever your representative is, it could be you, it could be any person. So if you choose to have counsel before then, that's up to you. But I would suggest the same deadline that we offered in the first case of January 15th for any motions to dismiss or strike, which would give you more time then to find counsel.
Sounds great.
Now that motion to strike and dismiss, that would be in reference to other matters in the objector's petition, because there are matters beyond just the signature problems.
Got it.
But as Mr. Erdman alluded to, there are timing issues with regard to objections for any signature rulings. So that would be a separate issue that might make it advisable to have an attorney by Tuesday.
Yes, sir. I got it.
Are there any other, and for the sake of consistency, we'll say that January 19th would also be the day to file any responses to any motions that are filed. Does that work for you, Mr. Erdman?
You're muted, Mr. Urban. We didn't hear your
If
answer.
you said something, I didn't hear it.
Yes, it does. Sorry about that.
Very good. Are there any other matters from either party in this case?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right, then, electoral board, I would ask for a motion to send this to a records examination on January 15th at 9 a.m. and at the Will County Clerk's office, and to appoint me as the what would be the, I'm blanking on the word. Mr. Erdman, is there a word that you would? As the person to rule on objections at the records examination.
We used to call him the caller at Cook County. So the call of the clerk is what we would reference it. So, but it would be the call of the board's designee here, I would think.
Thank you. Then we'll use that. So I'll repeat what the motion I'm looking for. If someone would make the motion to send this case to records examination on January 15th at 9 a.m. at the Will County Clerk's office, and to appoint me as the caller at that records exam.
You're muted, Shirley.
I was really I was saying what he just said, but I couldn't remember all the words that he used. So I said what he just said.
Just say ditto. Ditto is fine.
Ditto.
I second that motion.
All
I was
right.
trying to write some of it down.
Trustee Bolding. This is the vote on the motion.
Oh, aye.
Clerk Jones
Aye.
and Mayor Rudez. You're muted, Mayor.
Aye.
Very good.
Both ayes, yes.
And then if we could also have another motion to continue this hearing to January 22nd at 6 p.m.
I make a motion to continue this meeting until what, January
22nd at 6 p.m.
22nd at 6 o'clock.
6. I second that.
All right, the vote. Trustee Bowling,
Aye.
Clerk Jones,
Aye.
and Mayor Rudez.
Aye.
All right, that is all we have on that matter. Mr. Mayor, would you like to open up for public comment?
The floor is open for public comment. Wait a minute, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk has something to.
I received no public comments by email or text.
Okay, there are no public comments, Ryan. Mr. Morton.
All right, then if there's nothing else pending before this board, Mr. Mayor, I think we can proceed to the general continuance. Actually, I don't think we even need that because we've already made a motion to continue both cases. So we can just adjourn if there's nothing else.
Is there a motion?
My observation, Mr. Morton, that based on our troubles with the mute button, who would have thought it would be so hard to get attorneys to talk? So.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Oh, and and thank you, Mr. Erdman. I think we should clarify that that all hearings in this will be conducted by Zoom in the same fashion.
Yes.
With the same sign-in, or will a new one be issued for the 22nd, just to be sure?
Ms. Jenkins?
A new one will be issued.
Thank you.
All right, was someone going to adjourn?
There needs to be a motion.
Are we adjourning or just continuing?
We're just, I think we already have, so I think we can just end the meeting and we'll be good.
Okay.
Thank you all very much for attending and for participating.
It's
Thank
6:30
you.
p.m.
6:36. Yep.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was painless, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I told you that.
Because I had all kind of notes and stuff here. It's like, okay.
I told you it would be pain, but frustrating.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
evening.
You too.
I'm